Man, do y'all have a lot to say about MetaZoo, both good and bad. Today I'm responding to your comments to my most recent MetaZoo videos. Shermhart says, I was heavy on the Zoo at first, but the last few boxes I bought, just been trash, plain and simple. Going on 4 boxes of Seance and all were reverse hollows and no Hateful Eight. Now I understand, everyone knows the Seance boxes are mappable. You can get some really terrible boxes in there. And I understand that. I was surprised that Sherm also said that he got Wilderness and Native, and those also had the same kind of issues. And now I can kind of understand this, when it comes to MetaZoo boxes, unless you're hunting for like a serialized card or a secret rare, it kind of makes sense. Or maybe if you're playing and you want to get a lot of playable cards like in a box, I think there's probably good value there. But in terms of like just chasing those, that handful of cards that are in the full hollow form, or getting some of those chase auras, that kind of thing, it does feel like maybe you're better off just kind of buying the singles and not worrying about opening up boxes. Of course, you have to do kind of a cost analysis there, because if boxes are so cheap, which a lot of MetaZoo boxes have been, sometimes it's, it might make sense to try to open up some boxes and get some of those chase cards. But according to Sherm here, he's been doing that, and he's just kind of tired of getting a lot of bulk or a lot of reverse hollows, or just missing out on those chase cards. And my perspective on that is then you're left with a ton of bulk to deal with, and that's just no fun in terms of storage or trying to sell them off or trade them in for something else. It's just so much easier just to buy the singles you want if the prices make sense to do that. Now, again, I was surprised to hear that Wilderness and his Native box openings were not that great. So I don't know much about that. I don't think those are mappable sets. Maybe that was just kind of bad luck. But it does sound like at least the Seance mappability kind of put a bad taste in the mouth in terms of opening MetaZoo boxes. So hopefully that's something that we don't see too much of in the future. Now, Sherm also brings up this Native, I believe he's talking about the streamer set here when he's talking about the content creator product. And I did also buy that. That seemed like it was a long time ago, several months at least. I bought $100. That was a $100 product. I think I got 2 of those, and I haven't heard anything about it. So yeah, it would be great if they could figure out those shipping times. I mean, then again, they're doing a lot of products and collabs and things. So I know the binders have taken a long time to get in, and hopefully we'll be seeing those streamer kits coming in pretty soon. I definitely want to open one up on the channel. Okay, Blue Green says that they definitely need a TV show. The average person doesn't know what MetaZoo is. People overseas have no clue about local American cryptids, very little demand, need to cut supply and make a show. And then he brings up like bluey kind of animation, like a simpler kind of animation style, because anime is very expensive. And now I definitely agree with that. You saw my last MetaZoo video. The main point of that video was that I feel like they need a really good show, like a 9-episode, 30-minute show that is just awesome and like becomes the core of MetaZoo, of which the TCG is an extension. Now, I agree about this anime thing. I don't think they need to necessarily do like an anime style show like Pokemon. I actually think that if they could somehow find that illustrative style that they use on the cards and transfer that over into a motion style and make that for the show, I think that would be really unique and very attractive. I think that would be really cool. So hopefully we can see something about this show. I hear different commenters talking about some kind of like TikTok short shows or something. I don't think they need that. I think that's not going to be long lasting in terms of its potential. I think we really need something a little bit lengthier, a little bit more heavy duty in terms of helping to expand the media IPs. And also about Blue Green's comment about overseas. My wife went to France and went to a card store looking for MetaZoo cards, and they did not know what MetaZoo was. She ended up getting me some French Magic the Gathering packs. So that's my only reply to that. All right, Jokish Favor is talking about an online client for video games. Books, comics, shorts, TV show are definitely the main ingredients for noticeable growth and exposure. And I totally agree. This continued track of just doing a set, having promo collabs, I think for the base, we're keeping up with that and supporting that, but we are also, I know at least for me personally, am kind of holding out hope for something bigger to come and shake up this familiar pattern like that TV show. For me personally, I would go with the TV show followed up with a video game, and then you can look at books, comics, further things kind of expanding on the TV property that emerges from the show, of which the TCG will be a part of. All right, so Too Damn Nemo says that they actually really like the collab with Hello Kitty, but they are not into the price. So I don't know any of the price points for this stuff. I know they're like, there's this Comic-Con Hello Kitty promos you're gonna get, and then there's gonna be a product in the future. And maybe they know something a little bit more than I know, but they're quoting a $100 price for whatever product this is, or maybe a single card, I'm not sure. But they're just kind of talking about how it's gonna be too expensive for them. And even though they are the target demographic. So that's kind of interesting to know that there's someone really excited about the product, but it's just like, oh, for that price, maybe not. So it's showing you that potentially there is a ceiling for this stuff, even if people are really into it, even if it's a collab or any kind of product that they are really into. For whatever reason, whether it's the economy or people just kind of having wallet fatigue in general with cards, there are ceilings to this stuff, and you cannot ask whatever price you want for the product. So that's kind of interesting to hear. And my take on that is, for me, I don't mind paying a little bit extra. I mean, I paid $100. I think on at least one kit, I might have gotten 2 of those streamer kits. I got 2 or 3 of those MetaZoo Gala boxes, and those were $100 each. And the thing for me is, I'm kind of waiting on the booster boxes and a lot of these really heavily supplied products. And so for me, it just makes sense, I'll just kind of wait on those mainstream stuff and just the things that I think have a little bit more interest, like the Hello Kitty stuff, like the streamer kits, things that are kind of one-offs that I just personally like. I'm willing to pay a little bit of extra money because I'm really taking a break from a lot of the other stuff. A Conflicted Crisis responded in a comment thread started by Lord Bulbasaur, talking about how they kind of understood that my point in my last video was there was not really a main infrastructure or IP beneath the game, that the game was kind of it. That's why I was saying we need some TV shows and stuff. Conflicted Crisis says that they feel like they're a little bit scattershot with the promos and that maybe they should slow down and focus on something bigger that takes more resources. And yeah, that is definitely what I was saying in my most recent video. I mean, I like all those promos. I like that they're getting out there and trying to expand a very small niche game, in my opinion, it's small and niche, through these large properties. I think it's a good strategy. I think that, again, I'm going to reiterate my point from that original video that although those things are helpful, MetaZoo itself is not becoming a giant IP out of those collabs yet. And I really feel like they do need to just kind of focus on something huge, like a long form TV show, a movie, or something that can really become the new cornerstone. And I think that's going to help out the card game a lot. Guys, before we get to our final comments, remember, if you want to support the video, make sure you like the video. Make sure you subscribe for more MetaZoo videos. And also, if you want to go an extra step, I do include my eBay affiliate link down in the description below this video, in the pinned comment below this video. And if you make an eBay purchase using that affiliate link, I do earn a small commission from that. It is an awesome way to support the channel. Pee-wee's comments that there is a floor price of the Kickstarter for $2,000 because there are certain psychological floors and ceilings. And I totally agree with that. I think that if we're not at a floor, I think it can actually go lower. But I feel like there is a point, and I replied to that in my reply to this comment, that there is going to be a point where people are just going to be like, you know what, I bought this for $2,000. That's what Pee-wee's mentioned. A lot of people probably bought them around this time and are unwilling to let them go for less. And yeah, there is a point where it's like, if I paid $3,000 for this, maybe if I need to or want to, I'll sell it for $2,000. But if it gets down to like $1,500, $1,000, I mean, for me personally, I'd probably just be holding on to it and not really worrying about it. And it can just go to zero for all I care. And at that point, I'll just open it up or something and have some cool Kickstarter cards. So there is definitely gonna be a floor based on the fact that, people are just not gonna be willing to let it go for nothing or just give it away. And you have to consider, what is that number? Could it be 1,500? I feel like under 1,500, people are just gonna put them in the closet and just not think about it for a while. But I do think it could dip below 2,000, maybe 1,800, maybe moving to 1,500 before we see that. Pee-wee sees it at 2,000. I understand that. I bought mine at $2,000. I sold mine for $5,300. And for me, if I had bought it at 2,000, I don't think I would sell it for 2,000 after fees and everything. I'd probably just hold on to it and hope for the best. Daffy Finch says he appreciates MetaZoo content. Thank you very much. Appreciate you commenting and watching the videos. I think now is a great time to get into the game as a player with all the staple cards being so cheap. Yeah, it's not a terrible thing for for card games to be cheaper, to have kind of bare markets. It is if you're trying to flip them or you're a card store, I understand that. But there is a silver lining, and that is that you can get cards cheap. If you're looking to speculate, you can do that. You can buy low. And there's going to be different halves to that. And I think the only real risk to watch out for is a game going to actually go to zero. Right now, if you're looking at MetaZoo and you think it's going to be around 20 years from now and be so much stronger, then yeah, this is an awesome opportunity, not only as a player or a collector, but also as someone who might be looking to, hopefully have higher prices on their cards that they might want to trade out or sell, or, just have made some gains in. And that's awesome. So I think if it's going to be around and you're at a low point, I think that's kind of like magic, right? I mean, it's probably not going to go away permanently anytime soon anyway, so you can kind of have better chances of there being some kind of bump on different products here or there. But the thing about MetaZoo, I think, is much riskier, is that it is a new card game, and you just don't know if it will be here in 20 years. So there's a lot of potential, but a lot of risk as well. Michael Superbacker says or asks, what is the status or health of the game? I would say that the game is pretty successful for staying sideways as a new game and having some things here kind of moving up. I know there's certain cards and things that people kind of cling to more than others, because there are a lot of cards that are going kind of down as well, or kind of being forgotten, and overall not a lot of movement in prices with sealed product. I think there are certain singles that are people chasing, and then, Seance is like a broken sealed product, and you just have too much supply with other products, and then you've got like these blister reprints, and it's kind of confusing and oversaturated in terms of the variety of products, I feel. So I feel like the status of the game is that it is kind of in this sideways pattern. There are kind of some problems that need to be worked out, but there remains to be a lot of potential. However, in terms of things like the TV show and waiting on there being some bigger media expansion of the IP, I do feel like there is potential here that is untapped and, still missing the mark in terms of finding fruition. And I hope we can kind of move on some of that stuff sooner than later, because I think some people might be, I know I am personally, are getting kind of tired of just the same old formula of the new set and the promo collabs in between those new sets. We kind of want to see, or I want to see, I'm not going to speak for others, but I think it would be beneficial to start focusing now that you have this product pattern down, on some expansions of other kinds of media that will help widen the audience more and transform MetaZoo from a niche game to a more widespread and more well-known media property. Guys, that does it for today's video. There are other comments I didn't have a chance to get to, but I didn't want to make this video too long, and I felt like I got enough comments to really give a good variety of your perspectives and some of the key ideas and thoughts that you all are focusing on right now. Guys, that does it for today's video. I want to hear your comments about what people have to say about MetaZoo down in the comments below. I'd love to do another video with more of your comments and giving you my responses, my reactions to your comments about MetaZoo. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll be seeing you in another video very soon. Thank you.